Good evening and blessings out there, Facebook. Hey, what's going on? It's your man, Rod Hickman, Generational Wealth Builders, where poverty ends with us. Listen, we're so glad to be coming to you tonight here on this Monday Night Raw. Uh, and I know it's been a minute, but your boy been busy. Generational Wealth Builders has exploded. We are just, again, it's one of those situations where it's a great problem. As y'all always hear me say, it was all a dream, right? We started this business in our bedroom, and here we are now, almost 3 years. We're coming up on 3 years in July, and we've launched out into multiple states. We have multiple agents that are just, getting licensed, coming on board, starting to get ready to help families start to save, grow, and make money. So we're just super excited what we're doing. And so what that's done is that's kind of kept me away from being able to be on here and kind of talking, because this is what I love to do so much. My wife say I talk too much sometimes, but I guess I get it honest. But either way, I wanted to get on tonight just because, first of all, we want to definitely keep people in prayer. Covington, Tennessee. Again, we were hit here with that tornado. So we're definitely praying for people that have gone through, that are still going through. We still thank God for his grace. We still thank God for his mercy, because it could have been worse, right? We all could have been consumed. But we thank God for his goodness, his grace, and his mercy that he has extended towards us. And so, but keep Covington in prayer. There are a lot of people who have lost a lot, and so we're definitely praying for them. And definitely, I know personally that this community will circle the wagons around you when you're going through. Again, my wife and I, my family, when we lost Lil Rod, this community circled their arms around us and provided support. So we know people will be taken care of here. Listen, I'm not going to be on for too long tonight, because I just really wanted to get on for a few minutes, because there's a lot going on. There are a lot of changes that are in the air. There are a lot of people that are, um, people's situations are getting better. Some people's situation is not as well as it was beforehand. And so that's why I wanted to talk tonight a little bit about changes, right? I want to talk about some of the changes that are going on. And from a financial standpoint, again, there are a lot of changes that are transpiring. But here's what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to talk to you about the time that you need to review your life insurance policy. And I can feel you right now, man, why in the world do you want to talk about life insurance at a time like this? Well, the primary reason why I want to talk about life insurance at a time like this is because life insurance is probably one of the most protected assets that you can have. And please go look it up. But life insurance is one of those commodities that when you have it, it can definitely enrich you, right? And listen, when I say life insurance, I'm talking about life insurance, not death insurance. Death insurance is, and what I mean by that is when the policy only pays out because you die, right? But when you have a policy that builds cash value, and if you've been actually investing in that, when you go through some turbulent times, tell me it's not a good thing to be able to know you got 10, 15, 20, 50, $100,000 sitting over in an insurance policy gaining 6% interest. You just tell me now that's not a good feeling. Tell me that that's not going to be able to help you out in this financial mix that we're in. And so those are some of the things that life insurance can do. And it's time for us to check our policy. And so I'm going to talk about a few of the high level changes um, of when you should check your life insurance policy, right? There are a few times when you should absolutely check your life insurance policy, right? Now, as we get ready to get started, and as always, anytime we're on, listen, please feel free to jump in, chime in if you have any questions or whatever the case may be, or you just want to say, hey, man, keep it up, or hey, man, get off, whatever the case may be. We'll block you, but we'll definitely be good to hear from you, right? I'm just kidding. Now, the first change that we want to talk about is when you have a change to your family. What do I mean by change to your family? You have a new bambino, right? And again, it's they say it's cuffing season. So we just got out of what's that, Valentine's Day. So it's cuffing season, right? And so what'll happen is, if your family increases, you want to make sure that you are reviewing your policy, because you want to make sure that you can account for those new loved ones that are part of your family. We're coming up on graduation time, right? This is a time for you to check your life insurance policy. Well, why do you say that, Hickman? Well, because, folks, your children are getting older. And while, yes, they may still be able to be a rider on your policy, you should really consider getting your child, your teenager, their own life insurance policy. Especially if your child has their own job where they're making their own money, you should really, really consider getting your child their own life insurance policy. And again, having them pay for it, having them overfunded. Why is that? Because again, it's a tool that the wealthy use to be able to stack, grow, and save money. But that's a class for another time. I just want to talk to you about making sure that you are looking at that when your child graduates, they need to have their own life insurance policy. And I can just put this little plug in here, right? Because our policy have what's called the living benefits. And let me tell you why that's important. So God forbid, but let's just say little Randy goes off to college, right? And let's say that little Randy, messes around and gets caught up with a fraternity or something like that, where their motto is "Hold my beer and watch this," right? Let's just say that Randy just so happens to get engaged with one of those, even though we know that could never happen, and that would never happen. Children don't go off to college and get caught up with nothing, right? So again, but let's just say, God forbid, he does. He gets there and he does something really, really goofy, something really stupid, and it causes him to hurt himself, causing him to be in a point. Or let's say he did nothing, and all of a sudden some life happens, right? He has a heart attack, stroke, cancer, something like that, right? Immediately now your life has changed. Well, guess what? If he doesn't have any kind of health insurance, or if he's on your health insurance, again, while the insurance is going to pick up some, but guess what? You're going to have a lot more debt that you're going to have to focus on. You're not going to be able to work like you want to work, or you're not going to be able to be with your child. So there's a whole lot of stuff that's going to cause you to do. Well, what if I told you that we have a life insurance policy that, God forbid, same thing happened with Randy, and it's going to turn around and say, hey, we're sorry to hear about what Randy is going through while he's still alive. We're going to turn around. He got a $250,000 policy. Here's $125,000 tax-free. Make sure Randy gets together. And you still have a $125,000 death benefit. That's what our policies do. Our policies are literally able to help people like that. So that's why I'm a big proponent on putting your children on an index universal life policy. Please, that's my spiel about that. So again, as your children get old, they start graduating, and then again, let me just go back to the IUL. Guess what? They can start overfunding that policy. So if they say, hey, Pops, I want to get ready to get me a house, guess what? You don't have to come up with all the money for the down payment, right? You could take the cash value that's in that IUL and use that for the down payment if necessary. And guess what? You don't have to pay that money back. So these are the kind of things, and these are the kind of benefits that are available. And that's why I'm a big proponent, a huge proponent of getting your child their own IUL life insurance policy. I think my baby has two, because again, we are teaching her how to be financially sound. We're teaching her how to be financially solvent, how to make sure that she has money when she go down there. We let her have the time where she could just order all the boxes from Amazon, and every time I come home, I'm seeing another box, all this, that, and another. She's had that time, but now guess what she's doing? Now she is investing in herself. She understands the value of, hey, I put this money here, but that money in a bank is not going to make me no money, right? Because again, that goes back to the rule of 72. And here's what you got to understand. I'm teaching my baby this. Ain't no way on God's green earth I'm not going to teach my baby this and not allow her to be able to reap these kind of benefits. So again, This is what I'm telling you. If if I'm the kind of person, if I tell my clients, if it's good for my clients, it's good enough for my baby as well. And so my baby is doing that. So that's what I want to encourage you to do. Parents, listen, instead of buying them new Jordans, instead of buying them the new LeBrons and all this, that, and the other, listen, start investing in your children. Start investing in them now. Because again, watch me now. As they go down the road, they're gonna need some money down the road. How beneficial and how smart of you would it be to have a cash value policy where you've been putting money to the side for them, and then now you are able to give that to them. They get ready to buy a house. What can you give them? They're getting ready to get married. What can you give them? You get what I'm saying? So that's why we do that. Now, the last one I'll talk about with the family is this. A lot of us have not planned for our parents to get older, right? We don't think about the fact that our parents are going to get older, right? And when they get older, that causes our household to change, right? And so insurance, we've got to make sure that our parents are properly protected, right? And we have these incidents where people are like, well, I got this and I got that, but they really don't even understand what they have. We literally have had several cases where people have like, well, I got insurance. And then they find out they don't really have insurance. They're not leaving their family anything, right? And so those are the kind of things that we want to make sure that we circumvent, right? Waiting till mama and papa get up to want to have that conversation, that's not a good look, right? Because again, it's really, really dicey. So again, let's make sure that you're locking in a rate when they're much younger, so that builds that cash value. All right. That's point number one when you have changes to your family. Point number two is when you have changes to your health. Who Jesus? I know we all think that we're invincible. And I'm probably right there with them, right? I'm probably the worst, because what happens is, I feel like I can do it. I got it, man. I'm good, but I'm really not good. As I grow older, I'm learning I can't do the stuff that I used to do as much as I want to, as much as I feel like I have the right mind to do it. Guess what? My body be like, whoa, 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 fam, and throw a flag on the play. And so with that being said, we have to understand that as we grow older, our health is certain to deteriorate, right? It's just what we know is going to happen. But you want to make sure that you have a great policy before your health begins to deteriorate. Now, here we go again. None of us know if we walk outside, meteor fall, hit us upside the head, some drunk driver, whatever the case may be, right? It's not fair, but it still happens, right? And when it happens, it's at that point in time that I'm most saddened that I have to tell people, I'm sorry, I can't do anything for you. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I wish that I could help you, but I can't do anything for you. And so that's what we want to make sure that we're eliminating, right? And how do we eliminate that? Because you do it now, right? You get that what you need right now. Now, the other part of that is, let's just say that you went through a situation, right? You went through, breast cancer or some form of cancer or heart attack or stroke, or let's just say you didn't go through anything major. Let's just say at one point in time, you were uninsurable. And all of a sudden you've worked out, you start eating, better and doing all this, that, and other, and you get to the point where you are insurable. It is imperative for you to get a best policy then. And when I say a best policy, remember, folks, I'm not talking about no $25,000, $30,000, $50,000. That's not what I'm talking about, because that does not leave generational wealth. That is a precursor to poverty. It really is. Especially if you have people depending on you and things of that nature. So with that being said, when your health gets better, you need to beat feet and make sure that you can get a great policy. All right. So that's what you want to make sure of once your health gets better. Because again, once your health starts to deteriorate, it's going to cost more. If you can't work, then now you're going to start to go down a litany of roadblocks that are going to keep you from properly insuring your family. All right. And last but not least, we're going to talk about changes to your finances, right? And again, that's both positive and negative. And so the thing is, if you start making more money, it's a proven fact. When you make more money, you spend more money because you like that lifestyle, right? Let's just be honest about it, right? And I'm a prime example of that. I was talking with a good friend today, David. And we were talking about how I remember there was a time when we went to the Chinese buffet, right? And I ain't saying that I liked it, but that's all my pockets could afford, right? But guess what? Pockets a little deeper now. Ain't nobody going to no Chinese buffet. And y'all can say what y'all want to say about Hickman. I don't really care. But I ain't lying. Them steaks taste just a little bit better than Whataburger. Y'all know I ain't lying. And so I'm saying all that to say, when your lifestyle changes, you need to make sure that you boss up or that you plus up with your insurance to stick with the lifestyle that you have, right? Again, let's just say you went to school, you got your degree, and you got a promotion, right? Now you're making more money, right? And so as your standard of living come up, you don't want to still keep that $25,000, $50,000 life insurance policy. You want to make sure, again, as you go up, watch this, you're pushing the next generation up from where you are. As Bobby Clary, the CEO of Legacy Bridge Builders, always says, for my children, my ceiling will be their floor, right? I love that saying because that is such an unselfish statement that his ceiling, meaning where he tops out at for his children, boom, that's going to be their floor, meaning that's where they're going to go higher than what he is. And we as parents, we have to make sure that we want to leave our families taken care of, and especially brothers. Come on, brothers. We've got to make sure that we're leaving our family straight. Again, I know nobody want to think that, my wife ain't gonna be, laying up with another joke, and I get that, right? But at the same time, man, listen, that's the last thing in the world I'm gonna be worried about, because my goal is to make sure that Lady Hickman is taken care of, right? And then whatever she do with that money after I'm gone, I don't have a dog in the fight with that, right? I don't. And again, it's immaterial to me. But I tell you what, nobody's gonna be able to say, man, Hickman left that lady and she's struggling. Ain't nobody gonna never be able to say that. You get what I'm saying? Because that's not my legacy. My legacy is not going to be passing poverty. My legacy is not going to be where I'm passing on lack, where they can't put cheese on a Whopper, where none of that. That's not the legacy that Rod Hickman is going to leave behind. And so I challenge every father to make sure that you have that same mentality. Again, bro, come on, man. Let's just be honest, bro. Can we just keep it all the way 100? And I feel my petty bone coming on, so y'all pray for me. But if we can just keep it all the way 100, bro, just because you here don't mean Jody not there. Y'all ain't going to say nothing. Just because you still here don't mean Jody not there, right? Again, so don't make it like, well, I ain't going to make sure she can't. Nah, bro, she can be doing it right now. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to cast any kind of doubt or vision, but I'm just showing you how selfish it is to say, well, she might do this, that, and that. Man, if she loved and washed your dirty drawers while you were here, make sure your family's taken care of, right? That's just the bottom line. Come on, brothers, we can do better. And y'all know that if it wasn't being said, I wouldn't say it. It's being said. People literally say that. Man, I ain't finna have her around here and have some other dude around my kid. They're gonna be there anyway. They're gonna be there anyway. At least this way, if watch me now, listen to me. If you've taken care of them, they're self-sufficient. You ain't got to worry about Jody coming in the door before you even cold, right? But guess what? If you didn't take care of them, and Jody got to come and put something on your funeral, oh, you don't like me now. You don't like me now. The kid's going to be, hey, new dad, what's going on? You ain't even in the grave yet, right? So let's stop that silly mentality. But again, all that from your finances. As they go up, you want to make sure that you have the right amount of life insurance. When your finances go down, you still need to make sure that you can maintain your life insurance. And this, folks, is why it is imperative for you to get a index universal life policy. Let me tell you why. If you get a term policy and you don't make a couple payments, that policy is going to lapse. Period and point blank. Because there's nothing holding it. If you have a cash value policy, and while time is good, you've overfunded that, or you have cash value to it, well, guess what your policy going to do? While you're down, your policy is going to pay for itself. So guess what? You don't lose your death benefit. Does that make sense? You don't lose your death benefit. See, that's why you have to make sure that you're talking with somebody that understands the insurance game. You have to make sure. Listen, I don't. All right, now, listen, I don't. It is what it is, right? The way the agents of generational wealth builders are trained. Listen, we're not going to come and beat you up and try to, hey, you need this and hey, you need that. What we're going to do, we're going to sit down, we're going to talk about what your needs are, and then we're going to show you what's available, right? It's up to you to make the choice whether you want it or not, because you won't leave an appointment with one of the generational wealth builders and say, they twisted my arm and gave me something I don't even know what it is. No, you won't say that, because guess what? Those very same people are the people that are now generational wealth builder customers. Because people got in there, got the fast talking. They, oh, well, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. And the people didn't have a clue as to what they had. So what we do, we educate families. And that's why, again, you always see me saying, hey, we'll give you a free consultation, because, again, we want you to know what it is that you have. We want you to know and be able to be comfortable about what it is that you have. And that way, when you're able to be comfortable about what you have, guess what? If somebody come and say, well, hey, man, here's the next great thing, you're able to make a conscious decision and say, you know what? Yes, that works for my family, and go with it by all means. Or, nah, fam, that doesn't work for my family. This works for my family, and I can tell you why. So that's what we do here at Generational Wealth Builders, right? So let me say this last little part, and I'm going to get on out of the way. And this kind of takes me into that point. And this talks about how much insurance you need, right? And so what I want you to understand, there is such a model that we use, and it's called the dime model, right? The dime model is what we use as a template to basically say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, this is a ballpark of how much insurance that you need based on what it is that we discussed during our appointment, right? And the dime model is very, very simple. As we look at it here, what we look at is we say, okay, Mr. Client, how much debt do you have? We're not counting your mortgage. How much debt do you have? Credit cards, your truck, your car, whatever the case may be. And so Mr. Klein say, well, everything except my mortgage. Right now, I got $25,000 in debt. Why is that? Because what you must understand is that when you pass, your creditors can tie up your death benefit in probate. Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know that. See, a lot of people get mad at the insurance company. They're like, man, look at here, man, them folks just took my money and wouldn't give it to me. No, it ain't so much the insurance company. What happens is you let somebody tell you all you need was $25,000 or $50,000 worth of life insurance. And so what happened is the amount of debt that you have, your creditors tied up the life insurance. It wasn't that the insurance company didn't want to pay. And I'm not saying that does not happen, because I'm quite sure it has happened a couple of times. But what I'm saying is more often than not, it's because of the debt that you have where your creditors are tying up your money. So that's why we try to forecast and say, okay, just give me a ballpark of how much debt you have. So, bro, got $25,000 worth of debt. Then we say income replacement, my man. What does that mean? So if you have a husband and a wife and both of them are bringing in $50,000 a year, that means that home has a $100,000 budget, right? Again, that's just high level, right? I know with taxes and all that there, but it has two incomes, so it's about $100,000 budget. So what you have to understand is the loss of your income directly affects your budget. It directly affects the budget of your family. So let's just go back. Let's just say you got a husband and wife. They got a couple bambinos. Both of them have cars that they still financing, or they have a mortgage and all that there, right? So again, if you're living a life and you know you have two incomes, then more than likely you're probably living above that 50%. I mean, above that $50,000 threshold, right? Absolutely, you are, right? Because you're like, whoo, baby, I'll pay for this, you pay for that, right? That's how we do it, baby. I'll pay for this, you pay for that. So let's just say, for example, he's making $50,000 a year. I ask my clients, hey, do you want 3, 5, 7, or 10 years worth of your income left behind for your spouse? Let's just say he said, I want 5 years. Okay, 5 years, no worry. Now I'm telling you, his wife gonna kind of look at him. 5 years, that's all I'm worth. But again, that ain't my dog in the fight. Then we ask customer, hey, if you had to pay your mortgage off tomorrow, ballpark, what would it be? Well, it'd be about $200,000. Sweet, no worries. We'll just put 200 there. Now, for people who do not have a home, they don't own their home, they're renting. I asked this very same question, but it's from a different perspective. Hey, listen, if something should happen to you, how much house would you like for your family to be able to have in order to establish their forever home? Right? Again, that way you can actually leave something, for the house. I mean, leave something for your family so that they always have a home to call their own, right? So let's just say $200,000. Sweet. That's what that is. Now, you got the Bambinos. Are you paying for their college? Now, here we go again. You could be like Hickman on this one. Now, y'all know I'm a little petty. Those of y'all that know me. I know I'm a little petty. But here's the thing. My children have to figure it out themselves, right? And why do I say that? Because that is up to them. I'm teaching my children now how to get in the fight and how to win, right? And again, so they're going to have to figure that out. You get what I'm saying? Now, there are opportunities. And again, I'm going to put this plug in there. This is what we did for Little Rod. We said, hey, bro, if you want to go to college, listen, what you can do. The Air National Guard paid, at that time, it was a bachelor's degree. And as soon as he enlisted, they say they'll pay for up to a master's degree. All you got to do is 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks out the year. Hey, go ahead and pay for it. Right? Why is that? Because he'll respect it more if he's paying for it than if I'm paying for it. Right? He'll be out there wilding because I know my child, know how he would be. All right. Now, but let's just say you say, hey, man, well, no, I'm not like you, Hickman. I'm not petty like that. I'm going to pay for mine. Okay, sweet. So how much is it a semester? About $10,000 a semester. Okay, sweet. If it's $10,000 a semester or whatever the case may be, or you say it's $10,000 a year times 4 years, that's $40,000. Depending on how many children you have, if you have 3 children, that's $120K. Does that make sense? That's how we do that. Now, and then all we do, folks, add these numbers up. That gives us the total on the husband, right? And once we get the total on him, we do the same thing for the wife, because again, your wife has to be covered as well, because that's what a lot of people don't do. A lot of people are like, well, I ain't gonna put nothing on my wife. Well, why? Why not? Because again, if something happens, you still have to recover from that, right? Because again, whatever she's bringing, and it's going to be gone, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you all on tonight. I wanted you all to be able to see that. That's what we do here at Generational Wealth Builders. That's what we do at all of these other agencies that are popping out from us. Generational Wealth Builders South, Richard and Lamisha Hughes down there in Deerfield Beach, Florida. Really excited for what that couple has going on. Coming on up 95, we got Miss Frida Martin, who is the founder of Foundation Setters Financial Services Group. They're in the metropolitan city of Jessup, Georgia, right? She's coming on along right there. Matter of fact, doing some tremendous things. Super duper proud of that lady there. Well, again, we go way back, but I'm super duper proud of her. We got Mr. Davin and Shanithia Powell there in Hinesville, Georgia. They're coming on along. Mr. Powell just got his license there the other week. Again, doing some great and mighty things there. Really, really looking forward to him to start churning and burning right there in that Fort Stewart area. And I'm telling y'all, I'll probably be back there if it's not May or June I'll be back to Fort Stewart. I guarantee you, because we're finna start looking for an office there. Then we have Legacy Bridge Builders, Bobby and Tiffany Clary out there in Burleson, Tennessee, where they're going from grease to greatness. Super excited about them, praying for them right now. They're kind of going through something with the family, but we're definitely praying for him, and I know he's going to be right back in the saddle. Then we have Lady Glover. What can I say about Lady Glover? Lady Eleanor Glover, probably one of the most greatest and most cheerful and just always positive agents I've ever worked with in my life. And again, it is a joy and a privilege for you to talk with Lady Eleanor Glover. She is the CEO and the founder of Insurance Matter, Generational Wealth Building, there in the grand old city of Memphis, Tennessee. Again, I got a whole laundry list now. That's why I hadn't been on. We got Camellia and Sean Hickman down there in Starkville, Mississippi. We're getting ready to get that resurgence going on down there, and we'll have an office down there before long. And then last but not least, we have Ronnie and Roshiba Wallace out there in Huntsville, Texas, right just north of Houston, getting ready to go down to the Port Arthur area and tear it up. They're finna tear it to pieces. And so I'm just super excited about what's going on here, how we now have all these generational wealth builders that are going out here, these entrepreneurs that say, you know what, man, boom, I'm ready to go out here. This information has got to get out. Again, we've brought life back to the life insurance industry. We're not here just for commission. We're here for mission. We're here to help make sure that you and your family are comfortable and know exactly what you have. And so again, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to end my call tonight because I have to jump on to another one. But I wanted to take this time to be able to get on, share that information with you so that you could know that it's time to check in on your life insurance policy. Like I say, so much is going on. People just don't know. People don't know one way from the other. But here's the saddest part that I hear. The saddest thing that I hear sometimes are people are like, where were you, man? Why didn't I know about this? Boom. Why didn't somebody tell me about this beforehand? But here's the thing. It's not that nobody told them. It's just that they did not do their diligence to check into what they already had. They just said, oh, I got it with the job. Well, guess what? With the job, as soon as you leave the job, your policy stays there. Period and point blank. Your policy stays there. Because if you take it with you, I guarantee you can't afford it. Then you're going to be like, man, this thing sucks. Absolutely it does. Because it's death insurance. But like I told you, our policies have the living benefits. But again, not going to go into all that again because I feel myself wanting to go back, but I'm going to stop right there. Listen, this is your man, Rod Hickman, Generational Wealth Builders, where poverty ends with us. I will say this last thing. The Lord has been mighty good to us. He's been so kind, so wonderful to us. We are to the point where we are getting ready to hire our very own office coordinator. That's how good the Lord has been to us. We have listened. We have grown. And like I say, man, listen, I don't have time. I don't have time. I miss being able to do this. I miss being able to do some other things. But we are getting ready to hire our very first licensing and office coordinator. And so we are super excited. So if you are in the Covington, Tennessee area, and you say, hey, man, I think that may be something I want to be interested in. Listen, we want to hear from you. You can inbox me. You can reach out to me, shoot me your resume. We're going to put out an official job description when I can sit down and kind of type one up. But we are super duper excited about what's going on here. And again, as I said, we're going to continue to keep growing. As the Lord gives us strength, we are going to continue to keep growing. Again, we're really, really doing some major things here. And I'm so glad to be a part of this, doing this business with my wife. And we're already having some discussions about, full-time and launching out full-time. But again, like I say, we are doing some amazing things here. And again, I just want to tell you, thank you. Those of you who have reached out to us and who have supported us and said, hey, man, look, let me see what you got. Those of you that have given us a chance, thank you. I am so grateful to you. And again, I love, having the opportunity to interact with you all, even with the other agents that you may work through. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to serve you, because now I know with full assurity that your family is properly taken care of. I know that. And God forbid if anything should happen, I know we're not just coming bringing long faces, but we're actually bringing checks. We're actually coming bringing something that's going to heal, not necessarily heal your heart, but it'll kind of help lift you up a little bit. Make sense? All right. Love y'all so much. Good night. May the Lord bless you. God bless. Take care.